Okay, okay. Good afternoon. Yes, that's right. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. Evening? Evening. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's evening. It's evening. Uh, today we are once again going to look at. We're going to study the human condition. Isn't it great? We're going to study the human condition via the application of the Squirrel Civil War. Yes. Yes. So I've decided that because we talked about relationship circles before. And so because you guys are closer to me, obviously, if there's something else that's being sponsored, that comes first. But because I am closer to myself than you guys are close to me, so we shall do the sponsor for you guys tomorrow, right? And it seems that, interestingly enough, the girls have won out, and so tomorrow we are actually going to stream more Genshin Impact, which I didn't expect, but it's kind of nice. Well, I mean, that's exactly it, right? Relationship circles. Do I have to draw them again? Here, let's draw them. One circle, two circle, three circle, right? So the outer circle are our regular sponsors. The inner circle are all of you lot that are in the Discord, you boys and girls. And the one in the center is myself. So, you know, even though I really want to do some of my own, how do I say? I want to do more composition. I want to do a whole bunch of that stuff. But obviously, because because you guys are so insistent on giving me money. Exactly. I'm taking your money, and so therefore I shall do what is required of me. Anyway, but that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. We're going to do Genshin Impact tomorrow. But for today, we shall do more of our wonderful squirrels at war together. So just a quick recap, you may remember that we had originally this was the line, and then our friend here now, who's now a commander of the First Army, General Maplewood, managed a nice little thrust to the west, which then cut to the south, and so that forced all of these formations back, and then the collective instated the Second Army thing, which didn't end up working out very well because they put in charge a politically reliable but terrible commander who didn't end up being able to do anything and actually lost. Because of his reaction to this area, it gave the technocrats a very firm opening that they exploited ruthlessly, starting basically along this line and just pushing completely north, right? And so he's been sacked in the meantime. Actually, he's been executed. Yes, he's been executed. And so our friend of the 53rd, General Hartbark, is actually now in command of the Second Army. Yeah, so that's basically the situation, and the front lines have since then stabilized a little bit, where we're going to move on to all of this. But first, let's make sure that this looks good. So there's that counterattack. So there's the idea that they still need to save the 3rd Guards division, which has in the meantime done a done one of these. 2 brigades is not exactly enough to hold a full Guards division anymore. And so let's see. That needs to go away. there is a line here. There is, but you know, of course, because it's like this, there's going to be some very interesting things coming up. Yes, you're right. I was supposed to have fixed these before today. I didn't. Sue me. I mean, have your lawyers call my lawyers. Yeah, that's right. Your lawyer is my lawyer. One of the people in the Discord and I, we share we have the same. We retained the same lawyer for just personal purposes, and it just made things a lot easier to split the cost and to essentially just, you know, not have to worry about lawyering when the time came. It's a thing. It's a thing. So because the third has sort of not only pretensions but actually is powerful enough to try to brush these divisions away, our boy Hardbark is also doing some very interesting things in trying to save it. Because, you know, you can't just like lose every division that you have. That's probably silly. Let's see, this goes here. And actually, no, we'll keep this here. Give me one quick second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Delivery. It turns out. Yeah. Oh, actually, I bought. You guys might laugh at my pretentiousness. I bought a Marshall, set of Marshall, not a set, a single Marshall like Wi-Fi speaker. I knew I was gonna get laughed at. And indeed I have been. Marshall, if you guys, for those who don't know, is one of those like retro brands. The company itself has existed since what, 1960 something, so it's got, you know, 50 years worth of heritage, and it started, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, my boy, it started as as an amplifier company for guitars, for electric guitars, right? And so their amps are quite distinct. Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah, that stuff, exactly. So just so we are aware. Oh wait, no, yeah, we did this. These lines remain the same. This Hardbark is hardcore. His army formation is still here, which means that, you know, if something were to happen, there is still a chance that his headquarters could get. Excuse me, his headquarters could get taken. So the artillery needs to move, otherwise, oof. Bad. But you know, that's actually why Hardbark ordered the 33rd back a little bit to pull the 5th division, the collective 5th, in, and to weaken essentially this area, right? And we're also going to have this. So now this is a more holistic approach to the front, whereas before, you had individual divisions um, basically acting on their own. Now you have an entire army headquarters that's coordinating between army corps, and so what you end up seeing is that to save the third, we do all these very interesting and sort of intricate maneuvers where what am I saying? Where these particular elements actually gave up ground so that it weakens this area, and there's an attack coming from the north against the 11th, so that it further weakens possibilities of this being a thing. And then in conjunction with the breakout of the third, ideally they meet somewhere here. Now, whether that can itself turn into a pocket of these troops, that remains to be seen, but that's probably not going to be the case. Well, like, it is difficult. I mean, sure, if the second if the first guards parks itself here, the third guards parks itself here, then yeah, I mean, you will have a pocket, but this area is too weak, right? And this is wide open space. You can't imagine, like if there are very few sharpshooters here, this area is completely open and everyone can just run through, right? Like the 11th can, if the 11th can then take these high grounds, then that suddenly means that like you're essentially giving them another formation, and that's silly. Yeah, exactly. Like that. We're going to put a brigade here. So this is the brigade of the 30s, of the first guards. No, 36th. That'll remain in this direction. There we go. So even though the 36 is moving against the third, it's a reduced formation. So it only really has 2 full brigades, and then the 10. Oops. That's good. Oh, I completely forgot. What does it look like? 10th is over there. I've already moved a 10th. Okay. Yep. Yes. Question. I have answers. Am I crazy or insane? Neither. I mean, you know me well enough to know that that this is basically me, right? No, I am perfectly sound of mind, and I at least I think I'm perfectly sound of mind. And I know some of you might argue that, but I think I'm okay. Yeah. Someone's pulled up the DSM and is now trying to psychoanalyze me. DSM version 5. Coincidentally, like I don't like DSM 5. It's too broad. Like it's easy to diagnose everyone with DSM 5 because its ability to just find a like its ability to find a bucket for people to fit themselves in is so broad, right? And that's, I would argue that's especially for mental health, that's actually not a good thing, right? Like it's certainly not helpful in a lot of cases. Oh yes, the 51st, we are actually going to incorporate an army here, and then a army corps. Our friend Water Under Tree of the 51st has been promoted. Well, it's because he did well, right? So this is now 3rd Army. Is that how I call these things? No, just the 3rd. Just the 3rd. So what happened is, because his command has now reached 6 divisions, it made sense from the perspective of the collective to actually just promote the guy so that he doesn't, like, so that he can continue to command, but now like delegates some part of the front, right? Because you can't, it's really difficult to command a very long front. Like, generally speaking, you have maybe enough command power for like 3 or 4 field formations underneath. So that means a corps would have about 3 divisions. Oops. A corps would have about 3 divisions. A army would have 3 corps. All that kind of stuff. And so the 55th is incorporated here for the western side of this front. The 51st takes over the eastern side. Our friend Water Under Tree, he maintains his section of the front, except now he has a little bit more room, a little bit more help in making sure that it works the way he wants. So let me just do this. And so once again, we talk. I think I've talked about Clausewitz in the past. I can't remember. Clausewitz is a very, very influential military thinker who used his experiences in the or summarized a lot of the German army's officer corps experiences from the Napoleonic Wars into a set of very difficult to read books. They are incredibly difficult to read, like in the original German. I don't know what they are like in I don't know what they're like in English, like after someone's translated them. But in the original German, they're very, very difficult. Oh, it's the same brigade. So then we'll just pull in another brigade. What's happening here, you ask? Good question. I completely forgot to talk about it. Just you did the right thing. Just make sure you call me out for this kind of stuff. Essentially what's happening is, excuse me. Oh. One quick moment. So essentially what's happening here is that sorry, I got distracted by the text message. What's happening here is that the 5th Division, which was actually, if you remember, being a reserve formation of the 1st Army, it was brought all the way west and is now launching a full-out attack on this, quite undefended portion of the front. Yeah. Yes. That's a good point. That's a good point. The point was I'm gonna run out of room in the north. Luckily, that actually doesn't matter so much because we are, as you can see from the incessant counterattacks, it's actually not that big of a deal. Because we are actually getting to the point, like that's why I wanted to talk about Clausewitz. Now that I think about it, there is this idea that Clausewitz talks a lot about, which is the idea of a culmination point, a point in a military campaign where the attacker has exhausted all of his supplies and has run away from his own supply point, right? If you remember, like, this was the starting line of this particular action, and so they are very far away from that starting line and have outran their own supply, outran their own logistics, and the difference between that and what else am I saying? The defender who has up until now been falling back on his own supply lines and reinforcements, etc. And the idea really is that a modern campaign is rarely fought in such a way that it is that one battle can win anything. And so you have to fight in such a way as to make it much more difficult, or rather that you have to like hammer at modern armies in such a way that they cannot recover. And to do that, you have to hammer it over and over again, which is where the Russian deep battle doctrine really came into its own, right, at the end of the Second World War. But we're not there yet. So Clausewitz's idea of a culmination point means that at some point both armies are just gonna reach an equilibrium where the defense is equal to the offense, and then what happens? Well, we don't. That's what we're trying to find out, actually. So there's a little bit of reconquest going in here. The third. Let me just draw the defensive line. Oh no, that shouldn't look like that, my bad. It should still look like this. And it should be blue. There we go. And this should still be here. Let me just do a quick comparison. Yeah. Like the 6th was actually the first to bend, which means that right now it's looking like that. And so there's a very good chance that this will break. And that's why there are reinforcements coming. Reinforcements, where are my reinforcements? There you are. There we go. Time check. Really? Huh. Oh right, I had to take some deliveries in the middle, yes. But also, wow, okay. I might not be able to finish. I have to go in a few minutes. Oops. Yeah, you're right. I should have planned this better. What will my investors think indeed? Well, aren't you my investors? Right? Like technically you guys are the funding party, right? Luckily this has gone. Luckily this has gone. Come on, go. There we go. And the 2nd division is ready to move north. But that is still at least like half a day away, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's end it here for today. Thank you very, very much for watching. In conclusion, download Firefox, don't do Chrome. And I shall see you guys after. Bye-bye.